WPF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side.
Live from the
That's
Center
why
Right
there's
Radio
Understood
Studios
Talk.
in Tempe, Arizona, the Chips and Salsa Show. Conservative conversation, picoso, not mocoso, with Don Jorge Ortiz and Alicia Lara. George, former California Democrat union man turned legislative GOP chairman.
And Alice, former New Mexico Democrat turned legislative GOP district state committee woman.
Together, they are your Chips and Salsa Show hosts.
Get your guac on now with George Ortiz and Alice Lara.
It's time for another edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. It's Saturday, it's 4 p.m. Today is Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2018. My name is Alice Lara, and I am here with...
Don Jorge El Alacran.
He is George Ortiz, the deplorable, the Trump supporter, the hardest working man in Arizona, a man of many hats.
Chairman of LD19 also.
That's right. And I am a state committeeman for LD 27 here in Arizona, and also a member of the Central Republican Women of Phoenix. And we're going to talk about an event that we had here very recently. And in a few minutes, we're going to bring on our good friend. Our guest will be Jim O'Connor, who is running for the Arizona Corporation Commission, which, if that's kind of foreign to you, it's almost like a third part of government here in Arizona. People don't realize it, but it's really an important office, so we hope you'll stay tuned for that. George, I want to start out first and wish you a happy Cinco de Mayo. I know you're Puerto Rican, but that's okay.
We celebrate the Cinco de Mayo. I'll be nice.
You know, I was making this observation, and I bet you did too, and my husband caught up with it too. I was listening to a radio station, and it was an advertisement, and it was probably a beer commercial or something for liquor, and they were saying, "Oh, this Cinco de Mayo, be careful, watch out, because drink safely." I'm like, I don't hear them do that for St. Patty's Day, but Cinco de Mayo they do. Should I be offended as an American of Mexican heritage?
No, but I think you have more people going out and drinking on the Cinco de Mayo because we have such a large population, a Hispanic population. They like to go out, they like to drink. And not only Hispanics, but a lot of people just like to drink, and they like the tequilas and all the margaritas. So it is and the St. Patrick Day is almost the same thing, but the Cinco de Mayo, you have a larger a group of people that are drinking out there. So don't drink and drive.
So you're saying the Latinos outweigh the Irish. I'm just saying, oh, you're not going to commit to that, okay. It was just an observation that we had. Hey, we really appreciate you Chipsters for tuning in. We're here every Saturday at 4 p.m. If this is the first time that you've tuned into this show, George and I are both Republicans. We're former Democrats, actually, but we saw the light, and we always were conservative. We just didn't know it, and we're Republicans, and we're here every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Center Right Radio, and you might be watching us on Facebook at our show site, which is Chips, Letter N Salsa Show, and if you are, we would love if you would share that to spread the word. Also, if you have to go and you can't do it on Facebook, you can also go to centerright.live. You don't have to worry about the wwws. You go to centerright.live, and you can watch us live. We're there. If you want to watch us, or you can just listen to us. I mean, all kinds of ways to hear the show.
I want to just mention something for full disclosure. The Irish do know how to drink. They have some mean green drinks that, it's tough.
And my husband is Irish and Scotch, so, there's an old joke, but I'm going to spare you from it. It's like, I'm Irish and I'm Scotch, but I like to go drinking, but I hate to pay for it, something like that. That's terrible. Isn't that an awful joke? Bob Newhart said that joke. That's awful. I've offended everybody now. We've got lots of things to talk about, including the fact that we were at an event just this afternoon, George.
Did we mention the birthdays, or that comes?
Oh, you went. Well, can we? Well.
Yes, you go.
You're going to throw me out of whack.
No, go ahead.
Let's do the birthdays. No. Go ahead.
Well, the birthdays. my wife's father, is today be 91 years old. Is his birthday, and my granddaughter on Monday is her birthday, and she'll be 10 years old.
And that's Jasmine.
Jasmine. I'm sorry, it's Jasmine.
Yeah, I can't believe she's going to be 10 years old. I've got a couple of birthdays also. My cousin, Marie, I'm going to give the whole name, Marie Maxine Gonzalez Thomas. And she's got a birthday coming up. I'm not going to say how old she is because I don't have permission to do that. But her birthday's coming up, I believe, on the 8th. And also my good friend, who is an excellent handyman, by the way, Berwin Bishop. And they are both good Republican conservatives. So happy birthday out there.
And a friend of our friend, Brandon Jones, was birthday was yesterday. He told us to mention that. I don't know his name, but...
He said we didn't have to mention it, but we were nice and we mentioned anyway. Yeah. Very good. All right, so let's get back to what we did today. We were out at the park. We were doing some politics in the park. We were at El Prado Park, which is over in the Phoenix area, 19th Avenue, and just a little bit north of Baseline. And our legislative district decided we wanted to target those particular precincts and let people know that we exist there as well. And we invited some candidates, and we had our mayoral candidate, Moses Sanchez, was there, and he's running for mayor of Phoenix. He's the only Republican running, even though that's a nonpartisan race. And we also had Augie Bartning, and Augie is running for Maricopa Community College District, number 5, and he came out to see us. And then also we're going to bring on in a few minutes is our good friend Jim O'Connor was there, who's running for the Arizona Corporation Commission. And it was a beautiful day, George, and you had a booth set up for your LD as well, right?
Yes, we set up for LD19 and also for your Chips and Salsa show. I had some props, microphone, the earphones and everything set up, pictures of the Chips and Salsa crew, and if anybody came up, I would have been glad to sign the back of their T-shirt or something, but nobody came up. So
George is always willing to give a free autograph. Or are you charging for those now?
I'm there. I'll give a free autograph. It's free. And what do you get for free nowadays? Not very much.
You will do that. Always promises. And you do a pretty good job with that. You really do. You know, George, we're in our 4th year of the show. I also want to take an opportunity to, if you want some very affordable advertising, we've got this going on. Brandon Jones, who put Center Right Radio all together. We have our new studios. If you're watching us on Facebook or at centerright.live, he's really got it going on now. And if you're interested, you can email me direct, and that's Alice, ALIC, at chipsletternsalsashow.com. We have some very affordable advertising. We'd like to stay on the air. Maybe you'd like to do a show. It's very affordable as well. And maybe you'd like to do a weekly show. You can come in. And I also want to give kudos to our board op, Sexy Steve. George likes to call him Sexy Steve. Woohoo! And we also have to give kudos to Sonia Seeger. Okay, great. Sonia Seeger, who is our producer. Secret Sonia. Secret Sonia. And she takes care of the cocotazos and the whole enchilada that we'll have coming up later. Those are always so much fun, and they're gaining a lot of popularity. I want to invite also, Chipsters, if you're listening and you have something to say, please go on our Facebook site and comment about, if maybe you have a question or a comment. And we should probably take care and apologize also. We had been advertising that we had scheduled our good friend, Dr. Kelly Ward, to be on the program this weekend. And her scheduler, we had set it all up, and then he contacted me yesterday and he said, sorry, can't do it. She has another event. It's going to go longer, so she cannot do it. We're trying to get her on, I think, next week. And our military moment guy, Josh, guess what? He told me, George, he can't come on because he's in a band that actually was on Fox News. I think Steve says you're making a lot of noise there, George. Be cool. Calm down. And so he can't be in. But the next time that he's available, we will have him in the studio. Alrighty, let's see what else we could. Oh, want to talk about our Central Republican Women of Phoenix? We had a forum on Thursday, and yours truly was the moderator. And we had Kimberly Yee, who is running for Arizona State Treasurer, and also Joanne Sabah, who is challenging her. There was a third candidate, but he's no longer. And George, you went to the forum. How did you think that go? Any comments?
The forum was very revealing in what the two candidates had to say. Both of them spoke their positions, what they would do if they were state treasurer, and it was very interesting. We got to learn a lot about the two candidates, and we were able to ask a lot of questions, and both of them answered honestly, truthfully, and it gave us an opportunity to decide which one of the two we like. I won't tell you because I just won't.
You're going to be nice about that. I did learn something. I was kind of embarrassed that I did not know this, but the Arizona State Treasurer, they're third in line for the governorship. So
Yes.
that means something has to our governor. The next person is our Secretary of State because we don't have an Attorney General, or a Lieutenant General, excuse me. We do have an Attorney General, but we don't have a Lieutenant General like most states would be number 2. And then third in line is the Treasurer. So it's kind of a big deal. It really is. Alrighty. I wanted to bring up this point, and you know what? We should just bring Jim in here in case he wants to weigh in on this, and then we'll talk about your candidacy. Welcome, Jim O'Connor, to the Chips and Salsa Show.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We appreciate you coming in. What I want to talk about before we get to our next break, this is a national thing. This week, the Boy Scouts is no longer. Were you a Boy Scout, Jim?
I was.
You were a Boy Scout. Did you get to be an Eagle Scout or what?
No, I was not an Eagle Scout, but I was in scouting all my time in grade school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A well-respected tradition, and if anybody doesn't know out there, but they are no longer going to be the Boy Scouts. They're just going to call them the Scouts, and girls are going to be allowed to be in the Scouts. So you must have some thoughts. I certainly have some thoughts, but you being a Boy Scout, have been a Boy Scout. What do you say, Jim?
Well, I'm going to flip that on you.
Okay,
Because
do.
I was aware of that news break, no longer Boy Scouts, but I've been pretty consumed with a statewide election.
Sure.
And I haven't been able to stay on top of every single thing that comes down the pike. May I ask, because you interviewed both candidates for treasurer,
Okay.
is that woman who Doug Ducey appointed as our treasurer to replace Jeff DeWitt, who left that spot, is she not a candidate for treasurer? She's just going
As
to be
far as I know, she is not a candidate. Eileen Klein. As
Eileen
far as I know,
Klein,
she's not a
right.
candidate. Do you know
Okay.
any different, George?
I haven't heard anything different from that, but she would be a good candidate if she put her name in.
Yeah. As far as I know, she is not, though, but just the two.
All right, thanks. I was curious about that.
But you know what? That's good. I'm glad you mentioned that because somebody else probably would have had that question.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
only had the two. So do you have any thoughts? I mean, that's a long tradition there. I don't know, how old are the Boy Scouts? They're like 100 years old or something. aren't they?
Couldn't tell you.
Did you enjoy being in the Boy
I
Scouts?
did very much. But I'm 72 years old now, so that would be a long lost memory.
Do you think, you know, I can understand to be inclusive, but it just seems like that's, you know, that's gone now. I guess the Girl Scouts, I don't know what they do, if they are any different.
Well, I would have to imagine if they get rid of the boys, they have to get rid of the girls. So it's now just all scouting. I wonder what their sleepovers are going to look like, however.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Could you elaborate on? You worked 42 years in finance.
I did.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? And also, for my second question, you know, reporters get two questions.
Why don't we first, and remind the audience what we're doing is we're going to interview Jim O'Connor about the Arizona Corporation Commission.
Right.
There's something called a segue, George. You're not very good at it.
Segue?
But
Okay, I'll wait.
no. You go right ahead.
Okay, the first question, and then the second question is that you advised the California Senate on rewriting investment law, ensuring cities and counties would not repeat the notorious Orange County bankruptcy. Could you explain both of those for us, please?
I'd be happy to do that, but let me set that in a context that may be useful for your listeners.
Yes, sir.
When I was recruited or asked if I would consider running for the Corporation Commission, it was a group of Republican patriots in the West Valley that had just experienced sticker shock with 40%, I'm told, rate increases by APS in their electric bills and 40% increases in EPCOR water bills, both approved last summer by the members of the then seated Arizona Corporation Commission. So they sought me out as a man of integrity. They had known me in the volunteer Republican space for the last dozen years, and my very excellent reputation. It sounds awfully boastful, but I'm the only one here to talk about it. Carried over into my retirement years and into my volunteerism in the Republican Party. So these people asked if I would consider running because they believed we need people with integrity on the commission. And they also asked me if I would run, would I run as a clean election candidate so that I could say and mean, when elected, I don't owe anybody a favor, no special interest. So that was the genesis of this. I have never sought public office. I have no lust for power. I've been serving as a volunteer and did everything I possibly could in the last dozen years to the tune of 40 to 50 hours a week. So I obviously loved what I was doing, as you both do. Yeah. So I brought that, and then I began to look into the Corporation Commission and all the requirements and all the responsibilities of the commissioners. And something popped out that I had a 42-year working career in the investment industry. All the press that the Arizona Corporation Commission gets is over water and power rates. But the commission is also responsible for the licensing of every corporation and every limited liability company that does business in the state of Arizona. We also have the powers, authority, and a division set up called the Securities Division, where the commission goes out and audits every investment advisory practice and every broker-dealer in the securities industry in our state. So my 42 years of expertise that I didn't ever think would have application anywhere between me and the grave, all of a sudden became very prominent when I realized that of the current 5 sitting commissioners and the 4 gentlemen running against me for these 2 open seats, none of them have anywhere near. I don't think they have among them 42 months of experience in that area. So I bring something very unique to the commission if elected to that spot.
Wow.
That's a great way to introduce everything, which I wanted to give you that opportunity, so I'm glad that you took it. We have to wrap it up and pay some bills right now, but please stay tuned for some more of the Chips and Salsa Show with our good friend Jim O'Connor, who's running for the Arizona Corporation Commission. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
So don't go away, and we'll be right back.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14...
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
Welcome back to your Chips and Salsa show. Don Jorge El Alacran, very well known as Hillary's deplorable, one of her main deplorables out here in Arizona, and with my co-host Alice Lara and our great guest Jim O'Connor. And Alice, would you like to say?
Bring it in. Go for it.
Okay, I would like to ask. I know I'm kind of hogging up the question thing, but I'd like to ask Jim O'Connor to speak about the clean elections and how it works, because this is kind of new to me too, where you have to collect so many signatures of $5, but you receive a certain amount. So could you talk about that, Mr. O'Connor?
Happy to do that. I learned a great deal in this election cycle about clean elections because, like you as a district chairman, in my case a former district chairman, I was aware of lots of political things, but up in Scottsdale and Fountain Hills, clean elections had no application. There may be a candidate or two, but the money is insignificant. However, it's the law, it's what we have. Clean elections passed here in Arizona as a citizens' initiative 20 years ago, 1998, and the first election cycle that rolled out with clean elections was the year 2000, the year my wife and son and I moved here from Los Angeles. So I didn't pay much attention to it. I may have gone to one or two gatherings, and when a political person only asked me for $5, I was very anxious. That was the cheapest way I could get away.
Especially as Republicans.
My goodness. So I learned a great deal about the system, and I'm very, very high. I'm an advocate for it for Republicans, and I'd like to share with you why. First of all, clean elections only applies to state races, state house, state senate, superintendent of public instruction, mine inspector, treasurer, secretary of state, attorney general, governor, and corporation commission. That's it. If you're running for Congress or U.S. Senate, no help. If you're running for county office, city office, or school, no help. Just the state level. And here's the way it works. If you run for a state house or senate seat, which is the lowest level of economic benefit, you get $17,000 when you qualify with those $5 contributions. You get $17,000 from We the People on a nonpartisan basis. It's the funding of a political campaign. You then contribute. You then get, if you win your primary, you then get an additional $27,000. So in total, about $44,000 to run a campaign. So let's look at districts like Laura's
But this
LD.
says this says 271,000.
That's in a statewide race. I'm giving you a Senate seat or a state house seat, because I'm talking about this for the benefit of all Republicans statewide, and why I'm the advocate now and proponent of Republicans taking better advantage of clean elections. In LD 27, we could typically have a cycle where no Republicans run at all, because the demographics and voter registration is so top-heavy, it would be foolish to back a Republican candidate who you know will not win. Well, it's foolish maybe for the individual or the contributor. However, it's not foolish for our Republican Party, our Republican brand. We ought to hold LD meetings and have one volunteer to be the state Senate candidate, and 2 volunteers volunteer to be the House candidate. Then we need the PCs and the Republican clubs in that jurisdiction to help each of those 3 raise 240 $5 clean election contributions. And the payoff is this: $17,000 to start your primary contest. That's over $50,000 for the Republicans in LD 27. That's never happened. There's never been $50,000 invested by the party or a wealthy individual in LD 27. Hasn't happened. And because they will not have competition and will therefore win their primaries, they each get another together they will get $78,000. So think of LD 27, LD 29, LD 30, some of them around Tucson. All of a sudden, the Republican brand now has budgets of $120,000 per district to advertise its candidates. The Republican Party platform, marvelous pro-Constitution platform. We can get a lot of things done to build our party, to build our brand, to recruit to the party, using the public's money to do that. And the Democrats have been running circles around us, and I can illustrate that later if we have enough time.
And Jim, you're absolutely right that the Dems are ahead of us on that, because that's a terrific strategy. Why do you think the Republicans don't do that? Any idea? I mean, it just seems, it's very logical. They just feel so defeated, because in my LD, I think it's about 4-1. But yet if you use the strategy, I mean,
that's 250 signatures?
240 $5 forms that are in front of you with $5 contributions.
It's just that yours is a little bit more because
I'm running statewide, so I'll get it. I'm not hiding that. I'm excited about it, but I don't want to make this all about me.
No,
so this is a benefit to all Republicans, and we need to carry that message and really plant it. It's got to come up from the bottom up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a good strategy, and if we all could do it, because it's like pulling teeth sometimes to get, because nobody wants to go.
It makes a lot of sense
if
it's done properly.
And it was almost done several years ago. Dan Coleman and his wife ran in our district, and Daniel Veras as well.
Did he get all his 5s? So he got his funding.
Yeah, he got the 5s, and
you may not win. You may not win even then. But at least you've got lots of money to spread around and get the word out on the Republican brand. But we don't always think in terms of building the party. We terms of picking with looking for the candidate who's going to beat the Democrat. And we got to think of the party, and we've got to want a strong party. And then we'll have something that gets some good stuff done.
Jim, thank you for that explanation. That was really well done. Okay, we're going to wrap up this segment. We'll have another segment. We're going to get heavy detailed into your campaign. And I'm Alice Lara here with
Jorge Ortiz.
Don Jorge. And we'll be back with Jim O'Connor, candidate for Arizona Corporation Commission, here on the Chips and Salsa Show. Walk on with us. Don't go away.
Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14, 31? I mean, 13? We took a left on Carroll Street.
Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the search engine and digital marketing race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
We are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. Bienvenidos. Getting our guac on here. I'm Alice Lara with
the deplorable, Hillary's deplorable, Don Jorge.
Don Jorge. And thank you, Chipsters, so much for listening to us here on this Cinco de Mayo programa. We're so happy to be here. And we have our good buddy here, Jim O'Connor, who's running for the Arizona Corporation Commission. And over the break, he wanted to elaborate more. And this is some really good information about clean elections here in the state of Arizona, and Democrats and Republicans. So, Jim, I'm going to give you the floor again, and I promise you, folks, we are going to talk more about his campaign.
So it's interesting to note, about a month ago, I checked with our Clean Elections Department to inquire how many candidates are running under the Clean Elections Act in this election cycle. And the answer so far was 80 people running. Of the 80, 17 are Republicans, 51 are Democrats.
Wow.
They own 75% of the space, and Democrats are very good at getting money out of government for their purposes. I think Republicans are foolish if we don't embrace this. It's not for every race, it's not for every candidate. I respect that, and I'm a big believer in the Citizens United Supreme Court decision of the late 1980s, where money is speech and speech is money. If I had $1 billion and I wanted to get my ideology supported, I'd be supporting every conservative running for office nationwide.
And the thing, too, about clean elections, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I, as a Republican, I could give a $5 donation to a Democrat. Is that right?
That is correct.
And vice
Democrats
versa.
can give to Republicans, Republicans can give to Democrats.
So, you
It's-
might, like in our district, people don't vote for the Republican because they know they can't win, but they might give us $5 because they want to help our cause, even if they're an independent or a Democrat.
Exactly right. So the funding is nonpartisan, and that's very important.
And the
Very
money
important.
comes from fines and things? Right?
That's my understanding. It's largely from fines, and it's also from 80 people running around begging and borrowing for $5 contributions.
All righty. Well, thank you very much for that very valuable information. All right, Jim O'Connor, you said there are 4 other candidates running for Corporation Commission?
4 other in
two positions?
the primary for 2 positions. So there are a total of 5 of us running for two open seats.
So when the primary happens, the top 2 candidates will be chosen. Is that how it
That's
works?
correct. On August 28th, at our primary, the top 2 vote getters on the Republican ticket will be the top 2 finishers, and those candidates, whether they're traditionally funded or clean election funded, will move to the general to face off. So let's talk about how clean elections applies to that particular race. And George, you had mentioned earlier about that number. If I get 1,800 people, I'm in a statewide race, so it's not 240. They recommend getting 1,800 $5 bills. I've been here for 18 years, but I'm not close enough to 1,800 people personally. So I'm asking a lot of strangers for $5. And fortunately, I'm closing on 1,400 as we speak. And that is heavy lifting. That has taken 6 months of time. And I've had 60 speaking engagements since the first of this year. So everywhere I'm going, I'm talking about clean elections. And I'm actually asking for help from every registered voter in Arizona. If you like what you're hearing and you're interested in seeing me on your ballot, because I only get there if I get a nominating petition signed by you, and I need 8,000 of you, and I need 1,800 of you to give me $5. And if you do, then I'll be on the ballot and funded, and you will have a choice. You don't have to vote for me if you find something out later that you don't like, but at least you have a choice. And I like voters given choices, real choices, and I'm happy to be one of them. So my website is OConnoraz.com. That's OConnoraz.com. On the homepage, scroll to the bottom and you will see a red tab and a blue tab. Click the blue tab and sign my petition directly with the Secretary of State's office, and click the red tab and donate $5 on behalf of my campaign to clean elections. But I give the payoff for the 5s is I give that 9,000, that's 1,800 times 5. I go down with 1,800 forms because there's a form required by everyone who donates 5. I turn those 1,800 in. My campaign writes a check, the other source of funding of where the money comes from, 9,000 to the Clean Elections Fund. So the candidate, no matter which candidate it is, they don't spend that money. We just hold it as a custodian for the state and then turn it over. But what we get back, in my opinion, is more than adequate to get a good message out, and that's this. For the primary, Clean Elections will give my campaign $108,000. I don't have to pay any fundraisers. All of that can go into signs, internet advertising, mailers, those kinds of communications to get the message out. When I finish in the top 2, the state will then give my campaign an additional $163,000 to join with the other Republican, whether they're clean or traditional, and we fight then against the Democrats in the general this year on November 6th. So it's a more than adequate amount of money, in my view, to get the message out about who the candidate is, what they intend to do when they get there. Now, if the dark money comes out and they do the TV ads for or against certain candidates, those are beyond the control of any one candidate, good guys or bad guys. That stuff just happens.
Now you have everything you wanted to know about clean elections. Nice job. Good job. Okay, in this segment, Corporation Commission. You've explained that you've got a lot of experience. You feel very qualified for this position. But a lot of people really don't know the extent of the Corporation Commission. And they do, I think, like telecommunications, railroad, electricity regulation, and things like that. Because they just kind of assume that the legislature does everything. Give someone, a novice out there, a little bit of an education, and at the same time, why you are the best person to vote for.
With respect to the duties of the commission, pursuant to the Arizona Constitution, the men and women that we elect to the spot of commissioner adjudicates. They operate as a judge in a black robe on whether or not monopoly businesses, power companies, water companies, are going to get the ability to raise their rates that you and I pay to turn the lights on in our home and to keep us nice and cool in these nice hot summers that we experience here in the Valley. So we impact the decisions that we make up there, impact every single household, Democrat, Republican, no voter registration at all. Every citizen in Arizona is touched by the actions of the Corporation Commission. You want to have very, very qualified people there. George, I'll flip back as to why me again. You brought up very early the question of my work with the California State Senate. Back in 1994, and for many of your listeners, they could have been little children back in 1994. That was a very long time ago. But Orange County, California, which is just below south of Los Angeles County, the home of Disneyland, Orange County, California, filed for bankruptcy. That was a travesty. They filed for bankruptcy because their county treasurer took their $7 billion pooled investment fund and leveraged it. He leveraged it up to $21 billion, borrowed against it 2 times. So it's like a house with a mortgage. The $7 billion house had no mortgage, and then this guy went out and took a $14 billion mortgage out. And he was betting on which way interest rates go. That's speculating with public money. Very bad idea. The unfortunate thing, there was nothing illegal about it in the regulations at the time. So he operated legally, but foolishly nonetheless. He had $21 billion in market exposure. Interest rates rose. Fixed income securities prices, the bond portfolio, if you will, dropped in value by $2 billion. The $14 billion in loans were repaid, and you have $7 billion of equity minus 2. There's a $2 billion loss of the people's money. So the county reacted by filing for bankruptcy. They ran to the lawyers for protection. My own judgment about that, they didn't need to do that. A lot of good people got screwed, quite frankly. I was called in from the business side of things to work pro bono for the a Senate Select Committee that was put together with California state senators right across party lines, and I drafted and rewrote the permitted investment statutes in the state that controlled local government pool investing. It's big. It's complicated. I happen to be an expert in that field, and for the last 24 and a half years, there has not been another California local government that filed for bankruptcy as a result of investment shenanigans. So the Corporation Commission work is very similar to that kind of expertise that required. So I see myself running for a business position more than a political position.
And you got the experience.
I do, and the wisdom to go along with it.
That was a great explanation. I think you should take a minute of that and make it into a campaign commercial. All right, we're going to come right back to finish off the show, and you get to join us with the cocotazos and the whole enchiladas. We're going to explain that to you. Also,
does that mean we get to eat after the?
Well, maybe we'll talk about that. But don't go away, chipsters, because we'll be right back with more of the Chips and Salsa show here with myself, Alice Lara, and
Don Jorge,
and our special guest Jim O'Connor, running for the Arizona Corporation Commission. Walk on, but don't go away.
from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14...
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
Hey, we're back with the last segment of the Chips and Salsa show, and I'm here, Alice Lara, with George Ortiz, the Alacran, Don Jorge. All righty, I got you covered. Don't worry about it, buddy. Normally, we would play the Prather Point, and we had a little glitch last weekend. We didn't receive it. We were going to play it, but since we're kind of running short of time, maybe what we can do, I'm going to ask my technical director, Steve, do you think there's a way that we could just have it on our Facebook page maybe and play it? Maybe we can work on that or share it somehow. Yeah, we'll try to do that because Jeff always has some good stuff. So we'll do that. We just don't want to cheat him out of time because we usually like to discuss and everything. But I do want to take just 5 seconds here because I am wearing, if you're checking me out on Facebook or YouTube, I'm wearing Los Raptors shirt. Go Los Raptors. And in New Mexico, I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico, I've got 2 great nephews. I've got Zachary and Bo, and they play baseball. Okay? So I have a little message from Zachary. Let's see if we can hear it. Oh, come on. Oh, my goodness. Come on. Here we go.
Raptors just won 4-4 this season. Get your Glock on.
They won, and he said to get your guac on. So way to go, Zachary. Nice job. Okay, now it's time, kind of a fun segment, Jim O'Connor, and we're going to play cocotazo and whole enchiladas. And George is so good at always explaining what. Do you know what a cocotazo is, Jim?
I do not.
Okay, George, go for it.
Cocotazo in the Puerto Rican culture is when a child or somebody speaks out of line, usually a child, they get kind of tapped on the back of their noggin and kind of brought to their senses as kind of something stupid. In the Spanish culture, the Mexican culture, it's called a chanclazo, where the parent just takes a slipper and throws it across the room, and they get pretty good at it. And the cartoon right now that Walt Disney has, they have the matriarch of the family, older lady, and she gets out her slipper and throws it at one of the musicians that's trying to teach her grandson how to play the guitar. And so I thought it was pretty nice that they're actually incorporated that into a cartoon, the chanclazo. We call it the cocotazo. And it's an award that we give to pretty dumb people for dumb things.
Yeah, so we have the nominations during the week, and they're posted on our Facebook site, Chips, Litter, and Salsa Show. By the way, if you haven't liked us, could you please like our page? We're trying to get up. We're trying to get our numbers up. And so what we're going to do is list all the cocotazo nominations, and we get to vote on them, and then we'll see who wins. And then after that, not to be outdone because we like positive stuff, the whole enchilada, which is good things, people that have done good things. And George, guess what? This is the first time we have 7 whole enchilada nominations and only 6 cocotazo. So that's amazing. And special thanks to Secret Sonia, because she puts these all together for us so we can talk about them. All right, so here's number 1, okay? Michelle Wolf's White House Correspondents' dinner speech. You know what we're talking about there? Have you kept up with stuff, Jim?
Yeah, I have my barf bag that I brought off my airline flight recently.
Wasn't that awful? That was awful.
I refused to listen to it.
It was awful. So that was number 1. And then number 2, Maxine Waters tells Kanye to shut up. He talks out of turn. Maybe he should maybe not have had so much to say. That was our friend Maxine. Maxine's, she's nominated quite a bit, isn't she, George? Your girlfriend Maxine? Mm-hmm. She is. Number 3, Stormy Daniels sues Trump for defamation. Okay, all right, number 4. Oh, this one was very interesting. Girl wanted to wear a dress to prom, and then the Cultural Appropriation Police got her. If you saw that, Tucker Carlson covered this, and evidently she wore a Chinese dress. It was Chinese attire. And so, you don't know anything about that culture. What the heck are you doing wearing that dress that has, the Chinese culture in it? So that was number 4. Number 5, April Ryan accuses Sarah Sanders of starting a physical fight. Did you see that? And then now it even went, she says, yeah, those are fighting words.
She went on CNN and she made a fool of herself on CNN. It's crazy.
And Sarah Sanders said something like, she was going after her, she says, you don't know me. Yeah. And she says, oh, those are fighting words. That's what April Ryan said.
She took it totally made it to a street brawl. I mean, and it wasn't, Sarah Sanders did not mean in that text. She said, you don't know me. She doesn't know her. For what she said to Sarah Sanders, it was completely out of line.
And then number 6, man in handcuffs in court tries to escape, and he falls from the 2nd floor and gets caught.
Yeah, you see him run past the bailiff, gets all the way to the door, and I guess he didn't know that when you got outside the hallway, there was a rail there, and he's handcuffed, and he hits the rail and flips down and falls down, and the security guards at the bottom they even tried to catch him, but they missed him, and he just hit the ground. Cocotazo, that's my favorite one.
Is that who you vote for?
Yes.
Okay, so number 6 for you. All right, let's go to
Only because I saw it on TV.
Because you saw it was amazing. Mr. O'Connor, who do you vote for?
You said this is a slight tap on the back of the head or a shoe, perhaps?
That was a dumb thing to do. That was a dumb thing to do.
A slipper across the room.
Something your mom would have done to you.
You two are both incredibly gracious. I'd like to hit some of these people on the head with something a lot heavier than a shoe.
Which one would you pick? If you had to pick the best one, Jim.
Best as in awful.
Yeah, what's the worst one, I should say, actually?
That Miss Wolf, who
Yes.
should never be invited to a correspondence dinner again.
It was.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was
or anybody
ridiculous.
else's dinner.
And I have to tell you that I vote for that one as well because that was just, I couldn't believe that she went
Sarah
on.
Sanders just sat there and.
No, this is Michelle. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
And she took it. I mean, she just very politely she didn't like it, but she didn't. I mean, you could tell she was like very, very polite.
But you know what? Too, it wasn't even funny. You know,
wasn't
and
funny.
I'm not a prude. I don't think I'm a prude, but there wasn't anything funny there. All right, we go to our technical director, Steve. What do you pick, buddy? Get the numbers.
Sorry, I was trying to get the appraisal posted.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean they're all. Yeah. I would
Worthy.
definitely say Michelle's was the worst because I mean, I actually forced myself to watch the whole entire thing to get the whole.
I did too.
And it was pain. I mean, I felt so bad for Sarah, and Sarah just held her. I mean, I give her kudos because there's no way I would have been getting in a physical fight had it been me. I
that would have been the time for the physical fight.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of April's little whine.
All right, so it looks like she wins. Michelle Wolf's White House Correspondents' Dinner Speech. That is the cocotazo of the week. Okay, now we go to the whole enchiladas. And what this is, we like to reward good behavior as well. Because, you know, there are a lot of cool people. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Unfortunately, our news gets overwhelmed with bad stuff. So for the whole enchilada, let's try. The first one was Jesus Chuy was shot in the line of duty. This is the Nogales. So that's nomination number 1. Number 2, there's a group supporting the First and Second Amendment rights. And number 3, Alec Baldwin says Rob Schneider has point in criticism of the SNL Trump impersonation. Number 4, Kyle Kashuv takes down the far-left Parkland activist in one tweet. And number 5, North Korea bends and releases 3 American detainees. That was kind of an amazing thing. Number 6, teen accepted to 113 colleges, awarded $4.5 million in scholarships. That was another amazing thing. Number 7, Israel invents awesome gift for pro-life movement. Smartphone device showing mothers their baby ultrasound. So like if I was pregnant and on my phone, I could transmit like the ultrasound to the doctor. It was very cool. There's a number 8 also. And I don't know if you guys saw this, and it just happened. I saw it last night. It was Hannity's video of the week. And I think it was in Baltimore. So the police are chasing this guy who has a gun, and there's a man who walks with the cane and saw him, and he was so cool. His timing was so good. He saw the guy, went back with his cane, and he trips the perpetrator, and the guy falls and the police catch him. It was very, very cool. So I want to nominate that for a number 8. So I'm just going to put cane guy. Okay, George, who do
I
you
say
pick?
number 6 to get accepted to 113 colleges and be awarded $4.5 million in scholarship. He's got to have done something good. So I believe it was a black teen, right?
It was a girl. Yes.
Or black
yes,
female.
she was awesome.
And I think that has to be my enchilada award.
Okay, so that's 1 for number 6. Steve, I'm going to go to you, buddy.
Yeah, same thing. That was amazing. All 113. I saw the interview. It was like, I mean, all of these are always good, but yeah, that was an accomplishment.
I think she deserves it.
Yeah,
She deserves
113.
It's very impressive. All right, Mr. O'Connor.
Although you have many notable and very, very positive achievements on there, I pick number 7, the technology for the pro-life movement. That's a winner that will save lives forever.
That's a good
Yes, it was a wonderful one. And this is really hard for me. There's so many good ones. I mean, Jesus, who was shot in the line of duty, for doing all this. Rob Schneider, I give it to him because it's not hard to speak up in Hollywood. And, North Korea releasing 3 detainees.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
That is...
but this guy with the video...
Because they don't release nobody. They have to be almost dead before they release them.
Oh, right.
And
right.
they did that to placate Trump in this meeting that they're going to have.
Right.
Which is,
precisely.
Which is, I think, fantastic.
And this guy with the video, I mean, I am having a heck of a time doing that. And the pro-life, you guys, those are great. I'm going to go ahead, though, because that guy that had the sense and the timing to trip that perpetrator. I mean, even if I could have done it, I don't know if I would have done it because, you know, what if the guy had a gun? So I'm going to give it to him. But guess what? The winner is the team that it was accepted to 113 colleges, awarded $4.5 million in scholarships. So yay, that's a whole enchilada. Right on. Okay. All right, so we got to wrap this up. You can go to o'connoraz.com, right, for more information, Jim?
Correct.
Great.
Please do.
Good luck to you. Please come back and see us. And we're going to, oh, did you put the Prather Point up? Is that what you're telling me, Steve?
No, his website's on the...
Oh, you did put the website up on Facebook? Yeah. Thank you, Steve, so much. I want to thank Steve. He takes such good care of us, and he's rocking the show for us. We really appreciate everything he does, and it's awesome. And Sean, too, I want to give you some kudos. Thank you very much. And George, we want to give a thank you to Sonia, and also to Brandon Jones, who put this thing together for Central Right Radio. He does a fantastic job all the time. Next week...
And puts us behind the golden mic.
Yeah, the golden mics, right on. Next week, we do have a candidate from CD2, Danny Morales. And then the week after that, we're going to have another candidate from Congressional District 2, and that's Brandon Martin. So we're going to do Congress here. And you never know who else might pop up. That's what I know as far as. You got anybody surprised you're bringing?
Well, we might have the senator, the doctor.
Dr. Kelly Ward.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten confirmation.
We didn't want to say for sure. But thank you very much. Have a happy Cinco de Mayo. Have a wonderful week. This is Alice Lara with George
Don't drink
Ortiz
and drive.
and Jim O'Connor. Thanks so much. Have a great, great Cinco de Mayo.